Hi everyone and welcome back to National League Lowdown with me, Dan. As you can see, I'm joined by my usual panel. Craig, how are you, mate? You okay?
Yeah, very well, mate. Can't believe the season's already 6 games through and we're through the first month of the season. It's absolutely flown by.
Yeah, definitely, mate. It just seems to be like a game every few days, which it is at the moment. So we're going to get into all that. We're joined by Mark as well. How are you, mate? You okay?
Aloha, everybody. Yes, it's gone very, very quick. Another good win for Mac on Saturday, a 2-1 win over Darlington, Steve Watson's side. But yes, it is going remarkably quick, and we've got midweek matches to come, so plenty to cover.
Yeah, definitely. I just wanted to say, obviously, thanks to you lads for doing the podcast on York the other night as well, in my absence. I seen it's already had over 1,000 views, which is incredible. So well done to both of you for that, and well done to the York fan that came on as well. We appreciate everyone who comes on the show and plays their part as well. So I just wanted to say that as well. But I noticed that today over 1,000 views on that one alone. So maybe it's me that's the problem, not you guys. So
It's funny because the only other one without this over 1,000 views, I weren't there. So maybe we're just not a good trio.
Yeah, maybe the universe is trying to tell us something. Maybe. But yeah,
Larry and Mo.
But yeah, like we say, we've got loads to cover, so let's get right into it. So first game from the weekend, we're going to deep dive. We're going to go straight into Solihull Moors 1, Southend 2. Writing seems on the wall for Matt Taylor. Quite frankly, I'm surprised he's still there right now. There was some calls for him at the game. I heard some of the videos on social media, fans calling for him to be sacked. Obviously, Callum in our group chat, obviously not happy with him either. So Craig, how did you see this game?
Yeah, a baffling team selection to start, I think, was what was going around on the social medias as well, having 7 defenders in and then 4 minutes into the game being as open as anything for the opening goal, which doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. I think they showed some battling qualities, and maybe what's keeping him is that the players seem to maybe still be playing for him. But then Southend eventually showed their quality, and they're flying at the moment. See a couple of draws along the way, but an unbeaten first month of the season, unbeaten 6 games. They'll be delighted with them start. And it always seems to be the case, someone that plays for a team previously always beats the scorer. And Dallas made our team of the week with 2 excellent finishes.
Yeah, though he took them both very well, I thought, especially the second one, the way he took it into, had his back to goal, took it, turned and finished. I thought it was top quality finish. Like you say, Solihull, the team selection wasn't great. The first goal, they were wide open. Like they had the pick of players going forward on the break. They did come back into it second half, and Dan Creaney obviously got an incredible equaliser, like long range finish, which you could argue maybe should the keeper have done better, maybe. But I think he got caught off guard because it was quite a snappy finish, wasn't it? So I don't know. I think Solihull for me, they're the only team now without a win as well. So it's worrying signs. It's worrying signs. I think if obviously he's not gone now, so I think obviously you'll see midweek. If they don't win midweek, potentially that could be the end of Matt Taylor. How did you see the game, Mark?
Well, I foolishly gave him 90 days before he was sacked. You can take the 0 off that because I think he'll be gone this week. Then if they've seen what Yeovil have done with Mark Cooper, then they'll need to act fast. Who knows what his contract will be? I mean, there'll be the stipulations in there, but Solihull looks so desperate at the moment, and 7 defenders against a team like Southend, who've got 2 of the most marauding fullbacks in the league. They must be crazy. They must be crazy. And Andrew Dallas, he's having a bit of a renaissance now. I mean, he did go into the Football League. I think it was Barnsley, wasn't it? Didn't quite work out, but he's in a team where he can be looked at as the main man. But Solihull, no, I TikTok, your time is nearly up, Mr. Taylor. So, and then who do you replace him with?
That was my next question. We've already seen 2 managers sacked. Obviously, York was swift in their recruitment. Yeovil obviously taking a bit more time with theirs. But I feel like with Solihull, where do you go from Matt Taylor? Well, we won't cover that on this because we could be here all night. But I just think, even if they do get, the grass isn't always greener. Just depends. But just going back to Southend, like Craig said, sorry, they're absolutely flying. Like they look really solid. Even the games they haven't won, they've been solid draws. Like good value for the draw. That they've got goals, fullbacks that bomb down the wing, goals and assists. They look solid enough at the back that they really look the genuine article, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Kevin Mayer, you saw glimpses last season, particularly in the playoff against Rochdale, what this team is made of. And when Harry Boyes became available, he must have been in like transfer dreamland. He's like, I'm getting this guy for free. He's like, yeah, let's have him. Him and Gus Scott Morris. And as I say, you got Andy Dallas up there, Sam Austin. They have got some of the best free transfers you could possibly get. And yeah, when you do see league clubs and they do their retain lists, and you think, what on earth are you doing? I mean, I thought that about Sam Austin. And there's some players who you do watch and you desperately want them to go to a club where they'll absolutely thrive. And they're doing that. Boys is doing that at Southend. And will it keep going? We'll have to see, but the signs are very, very good.
Yeah, definitely. And just on Harry Boyes, obviously coming in from Sheffield United, I would argue he'd get a game at Sheffield United right now, the way Sheffield United have been playing at the start of the season. So they may be regretting that. Yeah, they might regret that. They definitely might. So, yeah, like I say, it covers that one. Next, we've got Truro 3, Boston 0. Obviously, this one will please Mark very much so. So, Mark, I'll come to you first. Obviously, big win for Truro. We did say the goal last week might have opened the floodgates, and it seems like that has occurred. How did you see this game, mate?
It's all it needed. All it needed was a bit of confidence in front of goal. Didn't expect it quite against Boston to be a 3-0, but they have got Will Dean in there. Tyler Harvey, I mentioned his name quite a few times. He made the difference with the goal and the assist. And this is what I saw with John Askey when Macclesfield Town was alive and kicking. It may be a slow start, but now Truro can actually go forwards with a lot of momentum. They'll have the they'll have the confidence there, and yeah, it's just a classic Askey performance. So yes, come on, my Truro.
Yeah, absolutely incredible result for me. I expected a Truro win. I think I predicted that in our predictions that we'll come to later, but I didn't expect it to be 3-0 and a comfortable outing. Craig, how did you see the game, mate?
Yeah, so looking back at the prediction, all three of us predicted it and got a little bit of stick on Twitter for it, shall we say. And I may have had a little pop back towards the end when we would say, what, Truro that's only scored one goal in 5 games are going to win. And then they did win, and they probably won, like you said, a lot more comfortable than we expected. Tyler Harvey up and running after some injuries blighted the start of his season. 3 goals, clean sheet. Perfect Saturday for them. Boston, it's not like them teams we've expected. Truro, Braintree, all the teams that are going to be around there. Brackley, the away form's not going to be what keeps them up. It'll probably be the home form, but to go down 3-0 at Truro will be worrying signs for them. But if they win their next couple at home, it will be forgotten about. But yeah, disappointing from them, but glad to see, from a neutral perspective, glad to see Truro up and running. As a Braintree fan, I'd prefer them to keep losing and get cut adrift, but
not a chance.
No, like I say, I think for Boston, it's a little bit worrying. But like I say, they've got a couple of games coming up. Even if they get 4 points from them, I think that'll soon be forgotten about.
They will be absolutely fine with Graham Coughlin. Graham Coughlin will not let that set in. Yeah. No way will he let that set in. That's how highly I rate him as a manager. But teams do get beaten by that scoreline, and the main thing is for Boston is not to let it happen again.
Yeah, put it down as a bad day at the office, I think. And like I said, Craig said there, Truro's home form is going to be massive. Like anyone who's fighting for anything, whether that's relegation, titles, playoffs, whatever, you need to win your home games when you're fighting for things. So to get that off the mark, and like I say, the week before there was improvements, there was goals. Well, there was a goal, which was an improvement on what we'd seen, and it did kind of feel like they maybe turned a bit of a corner because they'd only been beaten in the last minute, and we were right. That's why we all predicted them to win. So the person on social media that thought we were bang wrong, thanks for telling us we were wrong. I'm sure you've deleted your post by now. I'm sure you've deleted your post to save face. Next, we've got Gateshead 3, Aldershot 3. I've got 3 words that I've said for a couple of weeks now. Value for money. Aldershot turn up, and there is goals, there is entertainment. I mean, it's probably not good for your blood pressure or heart rate being an Aldershot fan, I would assume. To be fair, and a Gateshead fan these days. At the moment, there's goals everywhere. And for me, Aldershot, it's just about. Imagine if they could just tighten up a little bit at the back and turn these draws in or narrow defeats into points. They'd be flying up the table. I don't know. I feel like they're just missing a trick there, trying to tighten up, but then it wouldn't be as much value for money if they tightened up at the back. Craig, how did you see this one, mate?
Yeah, both good going forwards. Both got deficiencies at the back, which ultimately, when probably push comes to shove and they play the bigger boys, will be their undoing. You wouldn't be surprised to see either of these ship a 5-1 defeat. Probably when they're playing some of the teams down the bottom, you wouldn't be surprised to see them have a 5-1 victory. But I feel like the lack of quality defenders in both teams will be the reason they probably end up being stuck in mid-table, which compared to where we thought Gateshead could be at the end of the season, they'd be absolutely delighted with their start. But yeah, an open game, a thriller. We thought we were going to get a 3-2 in the Aldershot games, which seems to be their theme, but not to be. But yeah, another great game and value for money. Nothing more to add rather than that. But I'll make sure next time I'm not watching any game that I've got an Aldershot game on because they're always exciting.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, 2 goals for Kyle Hurst as well. Massive from him. Mark, how did you see this one?
The irresistible force meets the immovable object, as of Gorilla Monsoon. Oh, if you were in the area and thinking, I wonder what this game would be like, you wouldn't have been disappointed. You could argue that, you scored 3, but you conceded 3. Yeah, but so did your opposition. I mean, the defences will have to get a lot tighter than what they're doing at the moment. But Aldershot, they're playing the football that gets them the goals, and Gateshead don't seem to be that affected by whatever was going on in the summer. It doesn't seem to have been a burden, if you will, upon the players, because I mean, if you go all the way down from Gateshead to Aldershot and you've just watched 6 goals, you'll be thinking maybe a point, but they're on the right track. All they've got to do is just get it tighter at the back. Aldershot have been guilty more times of that this season than Gateshead, and it will prove invaluable more to the visitors than it would be Aldershot, because they come FA Trophy time. That's when we'll see where Aldershot's priorities lie.
Yeah, true. And I think with Gateshead, I mean, I jotted it down. They've got 10 points from the first 6 games, considering we all had them struggling. Considering we all had them really struggling. I think I'm sure I had them right down in the mire, really struggling.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Yeah,
I'll hold my hands up and say you're proving us wrong. But then again, well, anybody could really, couldn't they?
Yeah, true. And obviously, Aldershot are the league's top scorers, which, again, it might not surprise many people. I don't know. But for me, just to think where they are in the table, and then obviously they've scored the most goals, but then they've also conceded an absolute bag full as well. So, like I say, just there's a little bit there with Aldershot for me as to, if they could just tighten it up a little bit and turn them points that they're dropping into more positive things, they could easily be climbing up that table. So I'd definitely be keeping an eye on them to see what they do going forward. Next, we've got Halifax 3, Yeovil 2. Mark, I'll come back to you, mate. Obviously, Yeovil's just sacked the manager. Kind of half expecting a new well, I know there wasn't a new manager, but you know that new bounce that you get when a manager's just gone. How did you see this game?
Yeah, you see, there might be a bit of a sigh of relief when Mark Cooper did go. They've got somebody else who would have torn up basically how they were playing, but I mean, they can give themselves some credit for going in there. It just didn't last because Halifax have got some real quality players. Will Harris got the winner, I believe, and I warmed to him. A signing from Spennymoor, a trialist from Spennymoor, who just happened to sign on the dotted line, and again, he's another player who is now taking that league by the balls and running with it. But Yeovil, if they get a quality appointment, Adam Hinchelwood, sorry, frog in my throat. Somebody like him, he'll have the board's backing, or whoever they appoint will have the backing of the board. They'll have their own ideas, but not to be too disheartened. 2-1 up, shouldn't really have let the lead slip, but get a bit of normality, get a bit of consistency when the new management comes in, and forget what happened at the 4-3 Gateshead. Stick it out of your mind.
Yeah, I think there was some positive signs there from Yeovil, some real fight that they showed. Like I say, when the new manager does come in, there's definitely a squad there to work with. There's something to work with. Not all hope is lost, like we said when we done the Yeovil podcast with Ethan. The season's early enough for them to turn things around. It's not a disaster by any means. And obviously, it was a big win for Halifax, especially with a late winner as well, coming from behind 2-1 down. Big win for them after a bit of an indifferent start to the season for them, shall we say. Craig, how did you see this one, mate?
Yeah, so great result for Halifax. I did back Yeovil to have a little bit of a bounce or an unleashing, and I think they've seemed to, going forward, doesn't seem to be the issue. Obviously, they've now scored 5 in their last 2 after struggling a little bit to score early doors in the season. They've got a really good front three and a good 3 options off the bench there as well. But now they'll be worried that they're shipping goals, obviously 7 in their last 2. So maybe the handbrake has come off a little bit for them. But now they can't stop shipping them in at the other end. So a problem to look at there, with potentially one of the best goalies in the league in there as well. And he still managed to ship in 7 across the last 2. So yeah, worrying signs for them. But get an appointment in the next week or so. Give him a chance to build his own little thing and they'll be all right. Halifax, after their slow start, obviously losing their first 2, they've now picked up 7 points from their last 4 and gave Forest Green a very good game in there as well. So they'll be a little bit more upbeat than they were this time 2 weeks ago. But yeah, don't see either of their teams challenging for the playoffs particularly now. Don't see either team being too close to the drop either.
Yeah, I agree. I think the way that they both started the season, I think they'll probably be in that. We talk about that little bracket all the time, don't we? About maybe like 12th to 15th in there somewhere, maybe. But like I said, it's still early in the season. Things could change, but just that's how they kind of look to me right now. They're going to be in there somewhere. Next, we've got Wealdstone 1, Rochdale 3. Wealdstone, I said before we went live, but they won the first 3. They've now lost 3 in a row. Is it time to panic? Craig, what did you make of this one, mate?
No, it's not time to panic yet, but they have to stop that rot soon. They lose Tuesday night, Wednesday night, whichever one of the 2 they're playing. That's 4 in a row, and then
Tuesday they play.
Then the panic does start really setting in. But if you'd have said to them you'd have 9 points after 6, they'd have probably took it. It's more the manner that they had 9 after 3, which has made it disappointing. But they've got to stop the rot. But Rochdale obviously scored early. From there, they just built on it. Thought Wealdstone were quite open at times, which hasn't been like them quite previously. They've been quite tight. But Rochdale have got some players that can unlock doors for them. They've got Manny D that was scored. Devante Rodney had a great game, got a goal and an assist. So promising signs for them to be competing right at the top. And I think coming into September, they are now officially the league leaders. So they'll be delighted with their first month. So
Yeah.
Onwards and upwards for them.
Yeah, I agree, mate. You know, we talked earlier about Southend looking like the real deal. I think Rochdale looked like that as well. I know they lost that game to Brackley, but they did make all them changes. As soon as they brought them players back, they've started winning again. I think that Brackley game is a bit of an anomaly in their form. I think they look the real deal as well, a lot like Southend. And like you said, they've got that attacking option. Obviously, Aidan Barlow got the goal as well at the weekend. He can score goals as well. They've got so many options, but Manny D and Devante Rodney being the main men. If one doesn't score, the other does. If one doesn't assist, the other does. And they just seem to have it really worked out. Mark, how did you see this one?
Yeah, they're looking very good, Rochdale. They're looking very good from the goalkeeping all the way down to the attacking. Oliver Watmough, he's proving to be quite the asset here. You know, I'm hoping Manchester City scouts, whenever they go and watch him, are reporting back and having some glowing reports. Sam Beckwith, we've mentioned him a few times. He's a class act. You know, you don't need to justify his defensive duties. Devante Rodney. Yeah, don't be a plonker, and he wasn't. Played a great game. That's what Manny D needs. You know, they're all there. Wealdstone, yeah, you need to tighten up in the defence, lads, because the goals that are being leaked have been leaked too easily. But as you say, it's 9 points out of 3. The most realistic Wealdstone fan will tell you that it wasn't going to last forever. But what they've got to look at now is, now hang on, can we stay in this top 10? And if they just shut up shop, they don't want to get on a 4 or 5, 6 match losing run. You know, they're halfway to a 6 anyway. The sooner they get that closed off and have that little bit of belief about them again, then why not? Why not? You know, why not look at a playoff place potentially? But there's a long way to go. I mean, I'm beginning to sound like the Sky Sports commentator from earlier when he said the title race was over. What a muppet! But long way to go. But get that defence sorted.
Yeah, I think Wealdstone. It's just a matter of stopping that flow. That the wheels could easily come off. They could easily get on a really bad run of form. Things you see this happen in football all the time. They've lost 3 in a row already. They've got Southend at home coming up. That could easily be a 4th. It could easily get out of hand, and that'd be my little bit of worry. I'd be happy if they've got 9 points out of the first games, you know. But I'd be worried about how they've come about. Like Craig said, if they'd won one, lost one, won one, lost one, no one would really be batting an eyelid. But it's the fact that they've won 3, then lost 3, so it shows that they're capable of this. So I'd be a bit intrigued by them actually, just to see. And Rochdale, for me, they've probably been the team that's impressed me the most so far, with Southend. Potentially Forest Green as well. Just in terms of scoring goals, being the best team in the league, looking, like Mark said, from back to front, looking the real deal from the goalkeeper going forward. They look the real deal. And then the last deep dive.
Just before we go on to that one, sorry, mate. One last thing on Rochdale from me.
Yeah, go on.
On our X and coming up soon, we will be doing a manager of the month vote. In our nominations, I'll be shocked if McNulty's in there despite being top of the league, because you rotate 11 players and lose. He will not be in there from me anyway.
No, I mean that's the thing where you live and die by your decisions. You know that it realistically, you think Rochdale, you think where they are in the league, their manager should be nominated. But I'm the same as you. I'd be surprised if he does get nominated, because you can't be doing that. You know, as on a regular, changing 11, then doing 11 the game after. it just seems a bit chaotic. But
I
we'll
thought
see.
I thought he got rid of those kamikaze decisions because he made some last season, and well, you, you can change the bed, but will it smell as fresh?
Yeah, it's true. And then last one, I'm not particularly looking forward to this one, but
Oh boy,
Sutton
I am.
2, Sutton 2, Carlisle 1. Craig, I'll come to you first, mate. Obviously, big win for Sutton. They haven't won a game so far this season. Carlisle were undefeated going in. Bit of a turn up, but then a lot of people said they kind of seen it coming as well. I did see that on social media. A lot of Sutton fans said they fancied the chances and stuff, and they were right. So how did you see it?
Yeah, so from a Carlisle perspective, obviously they battered Braintree on Monday, and you thought that's the start of their season. Well, they've come crashing back down to earth on Saturday by going to Sutton and dropping an absolute stinker. They were poor from start to finish, and they only really got going in stoppage time of the second half, which was far too late. Sutton, to get their first goal of the season in that game, they'll be delighted. I did predict the draw and got some stick again for that. I should have backed them to win rather than the draw. So fair play to them for their reaction, their character shown. I'll let you rant more about that second goal because I'm sure that'll be coming at some stage. But shocking defending, but great opportunist play from Sutton as well, and took the game beyond Carlisle's doubt. But for you again, it shows the depth you've got up front that Georgie Kelly managed to grab a goal as well. So promising signs if you ignore the first 93.5 minutes for you.
Just ignore the first 93.5 minutes. That's fine. No problem. Mark, how did you see this one, mate?
How can a club play so bad against one that was so terrible in the first place? Honestly, Carlisle played like a bag of wet washing. They did terrible, and I'm not going to go on about how big they've spent. We know who they've got. We don't. It doesn't bear repeating. But Mark Hughes, we could be talking about him in the same vein as Matt Taylor if we're not careful. Some of the performances of Carlisle have not been good. Even though they've got wins, they've limped over the finishing line. And this one to a team who, my views on Sutton haven't changed. Very sorry about that. But he needs to watch himself. Mark Hughes seriously needs to watch himself because if you remember what happened to him at Manchester City, they were getting results, but the performances were so poor. But I can't see Roberto Mancini coming to Carlisle to replace him. But no, it needs a drastic improvement, and that result, hopefully, they'll get a wake up call. But no, they've got to get the performances in. But let's give credit where credit's due as well to Sutton. I mean, Carlisle made them look like 1970s Brazil, and they took advantage of that and won the game. But whether will it elevate them? No. Sorry, Sutton. No, I'm not sorry. Actually, no.
No, I mean, it's funny you mentioned Roberto Mancini there. I genuinely believe if he did come to Carlisle, he could put his boots on and go in midfield and do better than what we've got in midfield right now. Current Mancini.
You'll probably end up with Henry Mancini, who did the Pink Panther film thing.
Yeah, I mean, just from my point of view, obviously I've seen the game, and there was a lot of issues that were there in the Solihull game for me. We went without width, so we went more defensive. He wanted to pack the midfield, so you had Archie Davis running down the right hand side, and there was nobody for support. So he just ended up turning back and passing backwards, which is my pet hate. I don't know about you guys, but when you see wing backs or full backs going forward, and the first thought when they get the ball is, "Oh, let's go backwards or across the midfield," it's just like it just kills all momentum. For me, Sutton United, they played well. I thought they were good, but I thought the game itself was a poor game of football. Sutton could have been 3 or 4-0 up. Naddison missed an absolute sitter. They had one that was touch and go, whether it was over the line. They obviously got the deserved lead, and it was Carlisle just had no answers. And the one thing that I did notice as well was I think they kind of had us worked out. I think they marked Linney out of the game. Linney was largely ineffective. There was a couple of times where he kind of turned in, had a shot, but didn't quite come off like they did against Braintree. You know, and I think they kind of maybe have showed the league a little bit about if you can mark Linney out the game, Carlisle don't really have a plan B. And Mark Hughes was just making substitutions for the sake of substitutions at points. Like he literally took like a midfielder off and just brought another midfielder on. Took Luke Armstrong on off. Sorry, brought Georgie Kelly on. He wasn't actually changing anything. Like he was just making like like you would do on
That's
FIFA
what
and
will
Football
cost him.
Manager and stuff. Yeah,
That
just
is what will
like for
cost him.
likes. Like for likes, and yeah, like for me, I just think Carlisle could do so much better, but I wasn't surprised, and that was the thing that annoyed me the most because I kind of seen it coming a little bit just because they are the games we notoriously struggle in. Like I fear Brackley on Wednesday as well. We've struggled in these kinds of games in the Football League as well when we have to go down south, make long trips. The games that we do struggle in. So for me, again, like I say, I'm not taking anything away from Sutton. I thought Jaden Harris, former Carlisle player in midfield, played out of his skin. You could tell he was against his old club. Let's just put it that way. He was absolutely playing out of his skin. He probably won't have another game like that for the rest of the season, in my opinion. That'll be his game of the season. They looked a threat going forward. That Carlisle's defence will come onto that now with the goal kick. That just what's the number one rule you learn when you play football as a kid? Don't let it bounce.
Don't
Don't let it
Carlisle.
bounce. Don't let it bounce. And they let it bounce. Thomas didn't know what to do, didn't look behind him. Breeze didn't come and command. Again, you can argue till you're blue in the face as to whose fault it was. Me, personally, it's more on Thomas than it is on Breeze. It was a great finish, taking nothing away from the finish. But this is the issue with Terrell Thomas. He'll play well for 2 games, have people thinking he's turning a corner, and then he drops a game like that. But this is the issue with the team in general because he's the captain, and the inconsistency comes from the leaders of the pack. And the seeing Terrell Thomas and Aaron Hayden, who's our vice captain, who's now been dropped for Bevis Mugabe. These are our leaders, and these are the ones that are being dropped or dropping really, really bad games, and it just feeds down. And I worry for us a little bit, but again, it's just one defeat. When I put my level head on, it's one defeat. We could easily bounce back Wednesday against Brackley, and it can be forgotten about. But we've had some worrying performances this season. Like I said, Braintree. I did say when we were on here, as good as we played, I did think Braintree were poor as well. So it wasn't like, we absolutely blew them away. I didn't think we did. Solihull Moors at home was poor. Boreham Wood, we threw a 3-1 lead away. Sutton looked not really troubled until the 95th minute when Georgie Kelly scored. Didn't look troubled at all. So it is worrying signs, I think, as a Carlisle fan. But they can easily put it right if they want to on Wednesday night and try and stop the worry a little bit. But again, take nothing away from Sutton. They deserved the win, thoroughly deserved it. Jaden Harris in midfield, one of the best players on the pitch. Again, probably the best game he'll have all season. So yeah, so that's it from me. Kept it quite calm. It's just one defeat. We'll just see where we go from here. Ask me again next week. See how we get on next week.
Oh, we will. Don't you worry. Yes, we will.
See how
Unless you
worried.
win, then we'll skip past it.
Yeah. See how worried we
What
are.
about?
I was quite happy to skip past it this week, but he's dragged it out of me. He dragged it out of me. So obviously that's our deep dive. Mark, the floor is yours this week, mate. So we've got 5 in 5 minutes if you've got the time, mate. Feel free to start whenever you like.
Yes, well, we'll get the 0-0s out of the way. Braintree 0, Forest Green 0. A massive, massive point for Braintree. Everybody was expecting them to get a walloping as Forest Green had been on a roll, but no, they held out, and a deserved point. Craig will be very happy with that, and so you should be, young man. The second 0-0 draw, Hartlepool Boreham Wood. One player gets sent off, we move on. Morecambe 0, Woking 2. Dear, oh dear, Morecambe, you're gonna you're going to find it very hard if you do not get them together. But I'm being harsh there. I mean, they've got 3 games in hand, which could easily be winnable. But Woking, the dry toast of the league, actually put some butter on their performance this week. So, yeah, well done, Woking. But you're not going to change my mind anytime soon. Sorry, lads. Let's see. It's Scunthorpe and Barackley. Red card changes it all. One of my favourites, Danny Whitehall, scoring again. But then a red card, and with the amounts of with time that's been added on, they just couldn't hold out, but they'll still be there in the playoffs. They've still got Declan Howe and I've forgotten his name now. Callum Roberts, beg your pardon, Callum. Yep, still all there. And Eastleigh 2, Altrincham 1. Altrincham are still struggling. And I mean struggling to fill the gap that Regan Linney and Alex Newby have left. James Gale managed to score, but Eastleigh could show what they could do with their class. But again, they've got to improve as well, because there's a lot of people looking at who they signed. And help me out, have I left one
that's
out?
it. Perfect,
That's
mate.
it,
No, it's perfect.
That's
Perfect,
it.
mate.
Yeah. Sorry, Hartlepool and Boreham Wood fans, but you honestly, really, there's nothing to talk
The
about.
only thing I would say for Hartlepool is that it's another clean sheet for Hartlepool. They've only conceded 1 goal so far this season, which is a real achievement. But other than that, mate, that was a grand job, mate. Honestly, it's harder than you think when you try to do it all on the spot like that. It's harder than you think.
It is, yes, but I'd already made up my mind about the 2-0-0ers. I mean, Craig will. Well, I hope he's pleased about it, because my thoughts on the opposition that they faced are varied, to say the least. But the other one, we have a particular expression beginning with D and S. You have been warned.
Yeah, that we can't.
Going back to the Braintree game, I just add my 2 cents. I was obviously there for commentary on the zone. Braintree were on top first half. Maybe a shock inclusion, or not inclusion, shall I say. Captain George Langston was the one that got dropped from the back line after the 5-0 at Carlisle, and obviously the team that was put out got a clean sheet. So it'd be interesting to see if he's back in come Tuesday night at home to Tamworth. First half, we were definitely the better side. I think Robbie Savage admitted that as well. And then second half, they were kind of they were knocking on the door. I've mentioned smashing on the door in previous weeks. It seems they were knocking on the door, and the knocks were getting stronger, but they didn't really have anything clear cut. Few half-hearted appeals for penalties, but nothing too major. And I think Mark summed it up pretty well, that Braintree probably come out of that slightly happier. But credit to Robbie Savage on this. I sent a picture into you guys yesterday about him mingling with the Braintree mascots. I think they were 8 years old. He was watching them doing their little game on the pitch. He was talking to Braintree fans before and after. He seemed like a really nice bloke, which I'll be honest with, it wasn't my first impressions of him. So I'm always happy to be proved wrong. And it seems from watching up from the gantry that before the game I got there about half one, he's got a togetherness with his players, his staff and the fans. So everything I said about Forest Green in pre-season could be coming back, and I might be willing to retract that and hold my hands up on that one and say I got it wrong. Fair play to him. He's proven me quite wrong there, and to be fair, after meeting him yesterday, I'm quite happy he is, because he's been quite a nice bloke.
To be fair, though, he probably uses that as a good ammunition as well. He'll want people to doubt him and think he's not going to do well. So we're probably doing our bit for the Forest Green cause by doubting him at the start of the season.
I did tweet him about coming on. We'd love to get, if you're listening, we'd love to get you on at some stage.
We take back most things we said, Robbie. Sorry. I always said you had a good head of hair on you. I always said it.
Hey!
Jealousy.
Yeah, definitely jealousy. Definitely. But that's it for the games review. Next, we're going to do our team of the month. We've kind of nominated them between us. We've tried to do it as fairly. You know, we've got a democracy going on. We've done votes. Who's outvoted whom? Craig, I'll hand it over to you, mate, for our team of the month.
Absolutely. So we start where every good team starts, a strong goalkeeper. There was some good nominations in this from across. I think Mason Terry may have got the occasional mention from Braintree. Harvey Cartwright, I believe is his name, from Hartlepool. Southend's goalkeeper. But the one we kind of unanimously agreed is a very, very young goalkeeper that we didn't know what he'd do coming into this league, and he's been outstanding. And that is Oliver Watmuth from Rochdale. He was pretty much unanimous across us towards the end once after a few discussions. In the back three, we felt like Hartlepool's defensive record has been absolutely outstanding. And the man in the middle for that was Reece McNally, so he's made it in. Sam Beckworth has also got in from Rochdale, so Rochdale have got two of the back four in there as well. And I know he obviously plays left wing back a lot more, but we've put Harry Boys in there in the back three as well, just for how well he has hit the ground running at this level as well. After not too much senior experience before this, he's been outstanding. In midfield, we've got Ryan Hill from Aldershot, who's had an excellent season so far. Obviously added goals to his game as well. Obviously some from the penalty spot. They've had quite a few penalties so far, Aldershot, but you've still got to score them. We've seen quite a few missed early in the season as well. From Forest Green, we were debating a few Forest Green midfielders because we feel like that's been a real strong area for them. Eventually, we settled on Laurent Mendy. And our final two in midfield are Sam Austin from Southend. Again, Southend had an outstanding start. He's their second player. We've put in there really good kind of performances from them. But there's been a few players in there that have been mentioned. But he's the one that tends to get a lot of comments most weeks on our Team of the Week poll. And I believe he's made it in there twice. This one's maybe playing slightly out of position. That's Connor Roberts from Scunthorpe. Again, 2 or 3 Scunthorpe players could have made it in because they've made an excellent start. But he's the one we've gone for more how he's getting others in the game. I think he's got 1 goal, 3 assists in 5 games. So he started the season really strong. And then we thought this would be the really contentious part, the strikers. And then we said 3 names and we all said the same 3. So it wasn't too bad. So we've gone for the 2 joint top scorers in the league, Manny D and Regan Linney, both on 5 goals. When you're in the first month of the season, you're looking for a striker, you go for the ones that have scored the most goals. And the one who's playing for probably a team slightly lower down the league, probably the lowest kind of ranked team we've got in here is Luke Norris from Boreham Wood. More for probably the earlier stages of the month, but to get 4 goals in his first 3 is very good for him. And obviously, they'll be hoping he can get the goals that keep them ultimately away from that relegation battle. But that's our team of the month, goal of the month, manager of the month, and I think overall player of the month will be voted on our social medias by you guys. So make sure you get on there to have your say on those as well. Obviously, the player of the month will be coming from this 11.
Yeah, like I said, we've done the team. The player will be from the team, and it's going to get put out on social media for people to vote for their choice, see who they want, and see how we get on with that. But I'm very happy with that team. I thought we were going to have a bit more debate than what we actually had over it. I think generally we were unanimous with most of it. I mean, if you were thinking logically, it's quite an attacking team, so Laurent Mendy's going to have a lot of work to do in the midfield, I feel.
He can cope. He can cope.
He can cope. But yeah, no, so really happy with that team, and massive well done to all of them for the start they've made to the season. And I'm sure, especially the front 3, Manny D, Linney, 5 of many, and Luke Norris, if Boreham Wood, even, if they stay up or have a good season, he'll be one of the main reasons as well. So yeah, so that moves us on nicely to our predictions. Craig, I'm going to swing back to you, mate. And what were the scores on the doors this week?
Absolutely. So our last podcast that had predictions in it, obviously I think we had 4 podcasts in the last week due to the Yeovil and York situations. But the last one I had predictions on had Jazz Singh, the Tamworth goalkeeper, on. And these predictions are as good as his goalkeeping. He had a phenomenal week. He got 3 perfect results. And then he got 3 perfect scores and 1 result go his way. So he got 17 points and kind of won it pretty comfortably this time round as well.
Showed us up.
Showed us up. Yeah, we won't have him back. Mark was second with 11. He did get 1 perfect score and then 3 results correctly as well.
I'm coming to get you, baby.
Now, Dan, you didn't get any perfect results this week, but you actually got the most correct scores. You got 5 correct scores. So you had 5 teams you backed correctly, and then I had 4. So we done well in that sense, but didn't predict any perfects, which have kind of left us behind. So it's Jazz 17, Mark 11, Dan 10, and myself 8. So quite a poor week from me, and it's been reflected in the scoring, as I've gone from 6 points ahead to 3 behind now in the overall standings. The guests, which again isn't great for us, have taken the lead. They're now on 87. I'm on 84. Danny's on 77, and Mark's slightly lagging behind on 63, but he's shown this week that he does occasionally know what he's talking about.
It's a long way to
I'm not
go.
going to argue with that statement there, actually. So
It's a long way to go, but no,
Oh,
massive
boy,
credit to
isn't it?
Jazz. Massive credit to Jazz. He's made that look very easy, hasn't he?
My favourite
Well,
one was the
Jazz.
Gateshead one. I think loads of you had 3 2s or 3 1s. I think there may have even been a 4-1 in there. I had 0-0, and because it was a draw, I got 2 points from it.
You were actually miles off with your prediction, but you
Oh,
got like
dear.
the right outcome of the result, which is crazy. But like I said to you, I think in the group chat, the logic behind your 0-0 made sense because both teams had so many goals that you could just see it being 0-0 just out of pure. That's what football is. So I could see why you'd done that.
The final thing from this week was the Brackley goal. That gave Jazz a perfect result, which sent him from 12 points to 17, and I had 1-0 Scunthorpe, so that would have given me 13. So having a word with the referee there for too much added time killed me. I'd be back top of the league.
I'm sure that gave me 2 points as well because I had a draw. I think I had
I was getting 5. Me and Mark were both getting 5s there, I think, and you guys were getting 0s, and then you two ended up with 2, and me and Mark ended up with 0. And so you ended up with 2. Jazz ended up with 5. And me and Mark ended up with 0 because of a 98 goal. But I'm not bitter about it, honest.
No. There's no bitterness here. No bitterness.
Defeat and the jaws of victory there. Oh boy.
Just like me with Jaden Harris, there's no bitterness whatsoever. No bitterness whatsoever. But yeah, no. So obviously the predictions are going well. It is, some weeks are harder than others. We've had a couple of good weeks
yourself, my friend.
They are. Some weeks are a lot harder than others. Like I think it was
Every
one week
week's
when
harder for me.
well, yeah. There's some weeks where we've had lots of predicted scores like come true and had high scores, and then this week was. I mean, I know a couple of them were only a couple of goals off, but we were still wrong on some of them. So yeah. So obviously that takes us on to the predictions for midweek. We'll do it in order. So we'll do Tuesday's games first, and then we'll do Wednesday's games after that. So first, which is nice, we'll go for this. We've got Braintree versus Tamworth. Craig.
Yeah, so just to add to that as well, see, we usually have a guest on to give us predictions as well. We don't have a guest because we were doing the team of the month. So we asked Callum, our social media, to be the guest today. So he has gone for 2-1 to Braintree, and I'm joining him on that scoreline, 2-1 Braintree.
Oh my God, so am I. I've got 2-1 Braintree as well. Mark?
2-2.
Oh, thought we were going to have a full house there.
Did you honestly think I was going to do that?
Maybe.
Come on.
Maybe.
I've got a heel reputation to keep up here. Come on.
Next, we've got Eastleigh versus Scunthorpe. I'll go first on this one. I've got 1-1. Mark, we'll come to you.
I've got the score in my head quite a lot. Another 2-2.
Again, I can see it. Craig, yours and Callum's?
Yeah, so Callum agrees with you. He's gone 1-1. And I'm going to go for a home win here, 2-0 Eastleigh.
Ooh.
Again,
can see it. Yeah, can see it. So we've got a bit of a mix there. So there's going to be some point differences. Which is nice. Morecambe versus Forest Green next. Craig, what's yours and Callum's?
So Callum has gone 3-0 Forest Green. So away win. I'm going 2-0 away win.
Mark?
I'm going to go slightly against the grain, 3-1 to Forest Green, because I get the feeling that there could be some transfer movement from them tomorrow that'll make a difference.
Yeah, I've got 2-0 Forest Green as well. Sorry, Craig. I know Craig loves it when we pick the same results.
Oh, you
Next,
got
we've got Solihull Moors versus Yeovil. I think this is the final nail in Matt Taylor's coffin. I'm going to go for 1-0 Yeovil. Craig, what's yours and Callum's?
So Callum he's a very pessimistic Solihull fan at the minute. He's gone 2-0 Yeovil. I see a few goals in this one. I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw.
Ooh. Mark?
Yeah, I'm with Callum. 2-0 to Yeovil, and I think the P45 for Matt Taylor's going to be imminent. Sorry, Matt, but that's football, my friend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then last for Tuesday, we've got Wealdstone versus Southend. Mark, I'll come back to you, mate. What have you got for this one?
Oh, Wealdstone will not want to lose against this Southend side, but then again, Southend won't want to lose against them anyway. So I'm going 2-0 Southend.
Craig, yours and Callum's?
Callum's gone for 2-1 to Southend, and I'm agreeing with him on this one. 2-1 to Southend.
I've got 2-0 Southend.
Oh God,
I did almost put 2-1 as well.
On stopping the rock.
I did almost put 2-1.
Oh well, I wish you had, because you just got to jinx me. Thanks, pal.
You're welcome. I mean, I've jinxed Craig's enough, so I feel like I've got to share it out a little bit.
Yeah,
Wednesday, we've got
yeah.
Brackley versus Carlisle. I'm going to get the ball rolling on this one, and I'm going to go 2-1 Brackley. My logic is I think we'll struggle, but also the last time I predicted us to lose, we won. So my reverse psychology is coming into play again. Craig, what's yours and Callum's for this one?
Callum's gone 2-1 Carlisle. I think there will be a reaction. I think there must be a reaction. And I think the strength in being able to play Saturday, Tuesday with probably the depth in your squad will be important here. So I'm going 3-1 Carlisle.
Mark?
2-0 Brackley, because of the better teams at the moment, it has to be Brackley. The performances aren't good enough. Carlisle will not kill off teams, and that will be their weakness. And
yeah,
come on, Sparky, you're on notice, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, just going off what you said there as well, Brackley's home form's good as well. So I don't think Carlisle's going to roll into town and just turn them over comfortably, personally. Next, we've got Halifax against Walk-in/Dry Toast. Mark, I'll come to you first for this one, mate.
This is going to be the absolute thriller. 0-0.
I've got 2-0 Halifax for this one. Craig, what's yours and Callum's?
Callum's is a score draw, 1-1. And I'm going with Mark on this one. I'd like to put a 0-0 in each week, and this seems to be the one for me. Not a game that I'm going to be particularly glued to on Wednesday, shall we say?
Yeah, I've got a 0-0 prediction for this week as well, but it's not yet. Next, we've got Gateshead, Altrincham. I'll go first for this one. I've got 2-2 draw. I think goals. Gateshead obviously goals. Altrincham seem to be scoring a bit more now, so I've gone for a draw for this one. Mark?
I'm going to go 3-1 Gateshead. Their momentum is pushing them. All right, they drew Saturday, but they're scoring the goals. Altrincham are not. They are in they're in a tailspin, and it's going to take something to get out. They need a striker, big time striker, urgently. But no, Gateshead are feeling good about themselves at the moment. So 3-1 Gateshead. Keep proving me wrong, Ben.
Yeah,
what was your sorry, Ben?
I had 2. What did I even say?
2-2, I think it was.
Yeah, 2-2. Sorry, I was just checking. 2-2.
Callum has gone for 2-1 to Gateshead. Yeah. And I'm gonna go. They're gonna score a hatful again, Gateshead. But I think they'll ship a couple as well. So I'm gonna go 4-2 Gateshead.
Oh,
game of the day, that one. Game of the day.
Craig's going for some outlandish results this week to try and make up them points he lost the weekend.
whatever Craig's been smoking.
We'll quote tweet that on social media. Next, we've got Hartlepool versus Boston. Craig, I'll come to you first, mate. What's yours and Callum's?
Callum 2-1 Hartlepool. I agree, but I don't think Boston will score. I think Hartlepool's defence has been a bit too good at the moment. So 2-0 for me, 2-1 for Callum.
Yeah, Mark.
2-0 Hartlepool. As hard five once sang, hard to beat.
Yeah, I've got 2-0 Hartlepool as well. I
No,
almost
for God's sake.
I almost half changed it at the end there because means all three of us have gone for 2-0.
Oh, boy.
But hey ho, what can you do?
My ship is sinking, thank you, Dan.
Next, we've got Sutton versus Boreham Wood. This is why I sometimes go first, just because it doesn't look like I'm just predicting what everyone else is predicting.
This is
but I hate it when you do.
Yeah, this is my 0-0, guys. I'll go first. 0-0. Sutton return back to normal form after playing the game of their lives against Carlisle. Boreham Wood away from home will take a point, I assume. So 0-0 I've gone for. Mark?
1-0 Boreham Wood. And Luke Chuck Norris to get back on the score sheet. But yeah, something can feel good, but well,
Yeah.
you know how I feel.
Yeah. Craig, what's yours and Callum's for this one?
Yeah, Callum seems to love a score draw. He's gone 1-1 again here.
I wonder if he's enjoying sitting on that fence.
And I'm going to make sure somebody gets points in this one because we've had a draw, we've had a Boreham Wood win. I'm going for a Sutton win. I feel like Saturday was a catalyst for the start of their season. They're going to win 2-0.
Well, there's definitely going to be some differences in our results this week, which is exciting. And then lastly, we've got Truro versus Aldershot. I mean, value for money again. Mark, seeing as it's your second team, I'll come to you first. Truro.
And Aldershot will not enjoy the trip to Truro, but as you say, value for money. The irresistible force meeting the immovable object, but 3-2 Truro.
I think it's got a classic written all over it. I really do. Craig, what have you and Callum got?
Callum's gone for a home win, 1-0, 1-0 to Truro. I can't see Aldershot not conceding. I can't see them not scoring. So I'm going 2-1 Truro.
Yeah, I've gone for 2-2. I almost went 3-3, but I thought that's maybe a little bit too far. So I just went for 2-2. But I just think there'll be just goals everywhere, won't there? Again, I think the floodgates have opened for Truro and Aldershot will not score and they'll always concede as well. So it just seems nailed on.
And unfortunately, we're denied a classic this week. It would have been a great game. York Rochdale should have been this week. Unfortunately, due to the Rugby World Cup. That would
have been some game, wouldn't it? Would have been some game.
So York playing catch up a little bit.
Poor old Stuart Maynard, he waits all that time to get a job and now he can't even get a game.
But yeah, so that's it for our predictions. We'll put it all on social media. Keep an eye out. Callum does a lot of great work on our social media, on Twitter, on X, whatever it's called these days. Does a lot of work on there. Keep an eye out for our manager of the month, goal of the month. Obviously, we'll upload our team of the month, player of the month. Get your votes in, who you want. And yeah, that's it from us. It's been another fun-filled hour, putting the world to rights. Thanks to Mark for joining me. Thanks to Craig. And thanks to Callum for his predictions as well. And thanks everyone for watching. We'll catch you again next time. See ya.